everybody. Welcome to another episode of Wrong About Sports. I am ready for the Super Bowl, but wish the Bears were in it. Brian McDaniel.
And I am knowing that the Vikings are going to be in it probably for a while. Vikings fan, Carla Bigham, and we are
Wrong
About Sports. Oh, here we go, baby. Super Bowl.
Super Bowl weekend. I'm ready.
Hey, did you stop by and pick up some tasty adult beverages, Brian?
I did, to be 1,000% honest. And I made sure that the retailer I went to was a member of the Minnesota Licensed Beverage Association. Since 1952, the Minnesota Licensed Beverage Association has been helping licensed beverage retailers in the state of Minnesota with information resources, educational programs, and governmental affairs services designed to promote and protect their businesses. All their member retailers know that with the MLBA, they are not alone.
No.
And we went through a whole season here. MLBA was our sponsor the whole time. We couldn't have done this without them, or I guess we could have done this without them, but then Gabe would have to do it for free. So we appreciate them, and we appreciate everyone listening right now. And I'm ready to go.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be a real good game. We got Seahawks, Rams. But before we talk about that, on Thursday night,
Seahawks, Patriots.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was a week behind. Seahawks, Patriots. Last Thursday, there was one of my favorite shows of the year called NFL Honors. And we talked about this. And, MVP Stafford. We got actually most of them right. Couple ones we did not get right, but for the most part, we were right. And Vrabel, who's going to be playing in the Super Bowl's Coach of the Year. Stafford, by one vote, beat out Drake May for MVP. And, you got Christian McCaffrey, comeback player of the year. Offensive player was Jackson Smith, Njigba. Njigba. And he got offensive player of the year. So what a great program just to see everybody there. But in the middle of it, they announce the new class of the Hall of Fame. And this is a big deal. I mean, this is an elite class. Only 300 plus people are in it. And it's a big deal. And so I wanted to take a second. And I think it's good to kind of chat about this because it is quite an accomplishment. And there's a Minnesotan in there. So let's lead with him.
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald, Minnesota's own. Holy Angels, he played for. What a career. The way he played the game, the way he, developed through the game, like 17 years, something like that with Cardinals.
Long time.
And just one of the most prolific route runners and completion rate, very few drop passes, multi-Pro Bowler, overall nice guy. And we actually got to meet him at the for sports betting. We were talking about, a group of us got together talking about sports betting, and he was there. Mm-hmm. And big guy, tall, but I'm only 5 feet. But just a wholesome guy, right?
Well, and let me my favorite Larry Fitzgerald story is after a game, he's getting interviewed, and one of the reporters' cell phones went off, and he goes, "Hey guys, how about a little professionalism?" And it ended up that sports reporter was his
dad.
who you and I have been on Almanac with
absolutely
with
many times.
He doesn't seem to be as jovial a sort as Larry Jr. seems to be. But,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, it's always nice when a Minnesota guy, gets there. He went to school at Pittsburgh, but like you said, went to Holy Angels, and even though he played in Arizona his whole career, he never lost his attachment to Minnesota.
Yeah, and he was a ball boy for the Vikings. And so he really got to watch Randy Moss and those guys. Randy Moss is the one that alerted him and greeted him, as they say, at the door, to let him know he's made it into the Hall of Fame. And first round balloter. And so that's, I mean, it's one thing to get in the Hall of Fame. That's huge, but it's
Yeah.
really big to be on a first round
Well,
ballot. So
and it's very you look at the stats and, he's very deserving, but
mhm.
he was a steady player, not a flashy player.
Correct.
So I think maybe some people will be surprised that he was a first ballot Hall of Famer, but people who play football, they really, respected what he did, and, they're not surprised at all that he was a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Another not surprise, Drew Brees.
Drew Brees,
Here you got not the biggest quarterback. I mean, in fact, he's kind of known for like, hey, short guys can play quarterback and clearly
he's
make
the
it Super Bowl and
he's the Carla Bigham of quarterbacks.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Dude had like 6 or 7 seasons of over 70% completion rate. That's impressive. Multi Pro Bowler as well, Super Bowl winner. Again, all around nice guy. Has a ton of records that are still, I mean, it hasn't only been 5 years, but like he's leads a lot of the records that his work and durability allowed him to get. So yeah, he's just another one of those wholesome guys that just was really well respected for the game and for the position that he played. Not a runner, pocket guy, but I mean, dude had a cannon and he was accurate.
Well, he was good enough that he made people forget that you should be tall to be a quarterback. But yeah, he was a Purdue guy, so Big Ten guy. People
Yep.
seem to say only nice things about him, and so yeah, no, he's 100% deserving to be in on the first ballot.
And then only the third, I believe, kicker to be in the Hall of Fame behind Stenerud
Jan
and
Stenerud.
then Anderson, Morton Anderson, Adam Vinatieri. And so what a dude, what a reliable leg, like just go to accurate kicker, well, very well deserved, a lot of longevity in the league, and just again another one of those guys that gave back to the community that really people his work ethic was really up there and his results showed it. I don't know that he's a first rounder though. I don't think so. I think he's been on there for a couple of years because he's been gone for a while. He played until he was well into his like 40s though, I think. So
Well,
yeah,
and
kicker.
he was mainly a Colt and a Patriot, and
Correct.
got to play in a lot of big games. One, had a couple, at least one, well, at least one Super Bowl winning kick
Yeah.
early in his career, and absolutely one of the best.
But
No question.
multiple rings. I believe he has multiple rings though. And then Roger Craig, one of the OGs,
Mhm.
just before my time of watching. But you hear the stories. Dad tells the stories. It's just during that dynasty, really well overdue for this guy. If you think about it and think about the time of which he played and who was already in the Hall of Fame, and he contributed to that. And so, again, what a guy that kind of defined the role. No Barry Sanders or anything like that, but I mean, he during his time, he was one of the best in the business during those years.
Well, I'm old enough that I remember him. He would have been in his heyday when I was like in junior high, so I can remember playing football out in the yard with people, and people, some people being Roger Craig. Roger Craig was fantastic. In the moment, I can tell you, people thought he was one of the best. He had a back field of him and Tom Rathman, but he was on with
Mhm.
the Jerry Rice and the Joe Montana team, so he was on some great 49er teams, but he was like, if he wasn't the first, he was one of the first to have 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving in a season. So he, he was the prototype for Marshall Faulk. He was the prototype for a lot of these pass catching backs. So yeah, nope, he totally deserves it.
Absolutely. And kind of mimics Christian McCaffrey. So he's going to be a
Yep.
first rounder anyway too. But and then finally, a guy that put himself, I think before the game, and just a beast, brutal, just tackler, like just can light him up like the 4th of July. Luke Kuechly,
Kuechly.
and Kuechly?
I think it's Kuechly.
Oh, I call him. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But he not only is a really handsome guy, um, but he had some concussions and just decided on his own to cut his career short a little bit, because of so, not wanting to do more damage to his body, kind of like Andrew Luck. Like they just the injuries were not recovering fully, and he would be time for the next season, and then they would just get worse. So good for him. Gets his ring, gets his day, well deserved, and just oh man, could he could lay some hits. Ooh.
Yeah, no, he
So
was very much he played during the time of Urlacher, and those were two guys who very much kind of mimicked styles and
yeah,
impact.
yeah. Um, so the Super Bowl, we got some stuff to talk about there. Green Day's opening.
Yay.
That's gonna be
Yeah, no,
interesting.
yeah,
And
no,
you get
I'm of the age,
yep,
Green
yep,
Day was my era, so yeah.
yeah. And then you got Bad Bunny, and you know, there's gonna be some people that will join him on stage. But like it's always something to look forward to. Always judged very, very closely those halftime shows. I still say the one with Dre and Snoop and Eminem and um, the that whole group, Mary J. Blige, all that was the best. That was the best. Anybody from our era was screaming and dancing during that. But football, Brian. Let's talk
Yeah,
football. Last
yeah,
game, last game of the year, championship. It's all on the line. This is everything you work for. This is it. We got the Seahawks versus the Patriots in Levi Stadium in California.
yep,
Seahawks by 4.5. I think that's low, but
yeah,
we'll talk about that in a little bit. Um, got Darnold, who never obviously been to a Super Bowl, first time on this team, first season with this team, brings him to the Super Bowl. That's a good story.
well,
Then you got Drake May, who was only came up one vote shy of becoming the MVP this year. So that's kind of season he's having. And then you get Diggs and Stevenson that support him predominantly. And then you get JSN and Cooper Cup and Walker supporting Darnold. You got Hunter on the tight end for Drake May too. So quite an offensive lineup for these two teams. Let's start there. What do you think?
well, I mean, I keep waiting for Drake May to have a really bad game. I don't think he's had a great playoffs. He's had an okay playoffs, and they've played either soft competition or injured
Hmm.
competition. So, my brain keeps telling me that this is something where Seattle is going to outpace New England on offense, and very much on defense.
Hmm.
But Super Bowls are trap games, and the Patriots beat everyone that they needed to beat to get here, so you kind of can't fault them for that. But I think Drake May is a great story. I think he's being overhyped a little bit because he won. He's what second year,
Hmm.
and he's doing good. He's doing
Hmm.
well. He's not
Hmm.
screwing things up. But
Hmm.
when you look at his numbers versus Stafford's numbers dwarfed
Correct.
his. And
Correct.
it's not all just about the numbers, but yeah. So in any way, I think when you look at the offenses, I take Darnold over May, for
Mhm.
this game, not for career.
Correct.
Darnold over May, take Walker over Stevenson and Henderson. I'll take Smith and Jigba over Diggs. I'll take the Seattle defense over the New England defense. So it's kind of hard for me to say I'm not going to be picking the Seattle Seahawks to win because I think the maths on that.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I think it'll be Seattle by 7. but this is what I mean, like, as a Vikings fan, we've seen Darnold choke.
Yeah.
And is this game going to be too big for him? I don't know. But so Patriots, based on my research, Patriots are a first half team, and Seattle's kind of consistent through all four quarters. So if Patriots can get ahead, keep the pace up, keep scoring, and Seattle either has errors, incompletions, whatever, can't get the ball in the red zone, Patriots will probably keep this game close, and it could be a nail biter.
Well, and
Um,
if they win, I do think that Drake May is gonna have to be
the
the MVP of the
MVP,
game
100%.
because you can't really run on Seattle, which means that he's gonna be throwing. So I
Or
think
will
that
he be running? See,
well,
that's
he
where
might.
I think like that in and we'll get into the prop plays, but I mean, Seattle's defense, we haven't talked about him yet, but they rush a lot. And so like one of you, if you panic, what are you gonna do? You're gonna run. And this dude can run. I mean,
Mhm.
May has some legs, he's a big boy. Not easy to take down. And so maybe that's going to be their plan. I don't know. I do have a prop play, not here, but on my app that has Drake May with some rushing yards on it. I'm taking the over on that because I do think if they just decide to overwhelm the guy, like it's going to run and he might be successful depending on how smart he is of knowing which lane to run in. But Drake May is highly accurate. He is actually the most, right now, I think, highly accurate quarterback at 69% completion. And he
Nice.
has 106.8 quarterback rating. I mean, this guy's got an arm like no one else, and it's accurate. Can Diggs get separation? Are they going to use Stevenson and Henderson as a dual role? Is Hunter Henry gonna have a day? I kind of think so because I think they're going to be rushing and putting pressure on. He's not going to have time to let her rip down the field. I think he's going to be running. I think Hunter Henry, we'll talk about that. I think he's looking at over 230 plus yards a game. I mean, I don't think he's going to change that, and they're very good with yard per play. But then you got to look at this defense, as you were saying. I mean, they are one, if not the best defense in the league. They definitely are a top three, but I'm going to arguably say they're the reason they're in the Super Bowl. And they say defenses win championships. This the second best defense on yards per play, and they allow the fewest rush yards per play. So they shut it down, and so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a big Hunter Henry game. You'll see it in my props.
Mhm.
But I think New England's gonna be throwing, and so I think that it's either gonna be Drake May as MVP or a member of the Seattle secondary. Because I think it's gonna, I think those two units are gonna be inextricably linked, and then we'll see, Kenneth Walker, who
Yep.
Seattle really protected throughout the year, much to the chagrin of all of us who had him on a fantasy team.
But
But
good because Charbonnet blew his knee out.
yeah, but then Charbonneau blew his knee out in the playoffs, and
Yep.
now that it's just Walker, he's going gangbusters. Now, a lot of people I've heard them say, "Oh, well, they should have done this all year." Well, if they did this all year, he wouldn't be doing it right now.
Correct.
So they really did purposefully save him. And the coach McDonald, I think, has to get a lot of kudos for how he
Yeah.
managed that backfield.
Well, and a couple things. Speaking of coaches, we'll lift it up again. That my probably second favorite coach, Vrabel, it's coach of the year. Josh McGowan, assistant coach of the year. I mean, so here's the thing. Sam Darnold, though, let's talk about the Patriots defense. They're not horrible by any means. I'm
No.
not saying that by any means, but they are not anything like Seattle. But they're playing a guy who is number one in yards per completion with Darnold, number two in attempts. So not afraid to mix it up, and he's got a 98% quarterback rating because he kind of sometimes has a tendency to turn the ball over, which as a Vikings fan I know all too well. And so I just think I'm just gonna be anxious to see how the Patriots defense try to approach him. They obviously got to keep pressure on him because he folds big time when there's pressure on him in the pocket. So I mean, just watch what defense did to him when he was on the Vikings, and don't think Vrabel isn't gonna do that. And this team is so well coached. I would argue it's like the next to the Bears, and I'm being serious, just best coach team. I mean, he's just got them so disciplined and consistent, and they're playing for him. I think it's gonna be a good game. I honestly could see it going either way, but I just think the talent on that defense for Seattle is enough to make me say, nope, Seattle by 7.
Yeah,
So
I also think Seattle by 7. I'm picking, Seattle 30, New England 23.
that's about, yeah. I mean, I would say that'd be right in the ballpark. So let's talk prop plays.
Yeah.
We've already kind of alluded to them. What do you got?
Alright. So, I think this year, I feel like I have done a lot of tight ends, and, I don't know if it's because I'm a big fat white guy or what, but I'm gonna continue that trend,
There you go.
phrasing, and, I'm gonna go with my first, one is the aforementioned Hunter Henry. His, over under on receptions is 3.5.
Got it.
Um, so 3.5, I think is very low. I think they're gonna be throwing it to Henry a lot. So I think, getting 4 out of him, should not be a huge stretch, and,
Uh-uh.
I might put some real money on some of these, as well instead of my Brian bucks. So Hunter Henry over 3.5 receptions, and then I'm gonna go on the other side with Seattle's tight end, AJ Barner.
Mhm.
His over under is 2.5. And I think quite similarly, they're going to be throwing it to him. Maybe not as much as Hunter Henry, but I think he's going to get a sneaky amount of work, and I think he's going to get a touchdown. But I'm gonna go with the over on 2.5 for receptions for tight end AJ Barner. What do you
Got
got?
it. Got it. So Jackson Smith Njigba.
In Jigba.
Njigba. Man. Over I have him over on 93.5 receiving yards because if you look at Darnold's attempts and yards per attempt, I think you're going to have a few different options for the offense for Darnold, but this guy, offensive player of the year, sets himself aside, gets the separation, prolific route runner, and only has a career just skyrocketing right now. Sky's the limit for him. And so I think he is going to have a game. And so I'm going with him on 93 over 93.5 receiving yards. And then Drake May, um, again, he's like the most accurate with the highest rate of completion quarterback. And I think he's going to have 20 passing completions. So when he passes it, they're going to catch it. And so I think he's um, done well with that statistic throughout this season. So I think it's a pretty safe bet. But I still only do my $2 or whatever. So I'm gonna throw you a curveball here, which is not football language, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
What's the coin toss going to be?
Tails never fails.
Tail never fails. That's what I think too. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's one of the top things that people bet on.
Yep, yeah,
So
and also, like, the color of the Gatorade that gets dumped on the coach,
blue,
at the end. I'm gonna go with, clear or,
clear,
the white.
clear. Yeah, I'm
Um,
going. I'm going with blue. There's a lot of blue out there in the world, and probably this fall. So here's the thing. Let's tell our viewers a couple things. We're going to talk, but be back with some sort of draft show. So
mhm.
we are not going to be back on now that the Super Bowl is on. But probably going to do something with the draft. Haven't quite decided that. We plan on being back for next season. And we appreciate not only Gabe the Minnesota Licensed Beverage Association, but all the viewers.
Yeah.
And continue to like our and share our content here. And appreciate Brian your time and bringing this to realization. I think this has been fun, and hopefully sometime when we do this, one of our teams will be in the Super Bowl. But I bet you it's the Bears.
Yeah,
So.
well, we'll see about that. But no, I really appreciate you being available every week. I appreciate Gabe helping us actually get this up on the air. You know, who didn't grow up wishing that they could talk about sports?
Right.
So it's what a time to be alive. It was a great show. Really appreciate it, and I'm very much looking forward to the draft show and then next season.
All right.
With that, I am hopeful Chicago Bears fan Brian McDaniel.
And I am always evergreen Vikings fan, Carla Bigham. And we are Wrong About Sports. Good stuff.